Going into 2020, what do the voters actually care about? Whether it's Democrats or Republicans, you have things like impeachment, and then you have a whole bunch of potential policies and issue areas. What do people really prioritize? I saw a really interesting analysis that I think we can learn a lot from the New York Times. And they start off saying, Republicans in Congress have tried to discredit the Democratic-led impeachment inquiry by arguing that it distracts Congress from its real duties. You've probably heard this any number of different times. But when we look at data on revealed priorities from people all over the country, we see something different. Most people would give up their preferred outcomes on healthcare, the environment, or taxes if it meant getting what they want on impeachment. It's an important issue for almost everyone. That I did not expect. That it is not only something that people consider important, but in an experimental condition where they have to choose between these things, they will often defer to, I want either, if I oppose impeachment, I want him to stay in office. If I support it, I want him out of office, more than my priorities in important issue areas. Among Democrats first, if they have an opinion on the topic, 86% support impeachment. That's pretty high. It's not the 95% approval rating the Republican Party Trump says he has, but it is pretty high. So we're gonna go into sort of the order of priorities, but initially, were you surprised by that?
Among Democrats with an opinion of the topic, 86% support impeachment, the remainder don't. I mean that.
I don't mean surprised by that. I mean the fact that they actually, like I think it's the number, we'll get into it, but I think it's the number 2 priority for Democrats.
I mean, no, partisanship takes 2 forms in people's minds. One, they think things should be bipartisan. In order to get, like the Nadler back in the day said, I think bipartisan, or I think impeachment should proceed if it's bipartisan. That assumes that partisanship dissolves once one side has made a clear case and the other side sees that as having merit. But that doesn't happen anymore. I think this just reinforces partisanship existing in America as it actually does, which is like, I like my guy and I hate your guy. But what is the nature of the disdain for Trump? It is that he doesn't care about the people in the country, and he doesn't care about the institutions of the country that we intellectually understand to make sense as written. And that, if you're trying to then ask people like, what do you want, healthcare? Do you want healthcare to proceed? They're like, yeah. But it will be more likely if this guy was out of the way, because he is exactly what's clogging up the veins of justice. So let's focus on that as a priority.
It's like a strategic prioritization. Yeah, rather than a like, I'm floating in the ether having to choose between like getting him out and healthcare.
And that's backed up by everything, because it's something tangible and real and a fight that people get.
Yeah.
And it has a face to it. Like healthcare doesn't have a face, it has every face.
It has our face.
It's effective when you can show a specific face that went through the argument for healthcare reform is more effective when you can show this person got cancer and died and had no way of knowing it because X, Y, and Z, because they couldn't afford healthcare. Those things work, but it's harder to come by those and harder to get everybody to understand and empathize with it in a real way than tied to policy. Come on, that's a tough uphill battle. But saying, do you want to get this guy out of office because he's clogging up the veins and ruining America? The answer is, yeah, that thing.
That seems reasonable. You should do more politics talk. You know what? You get some things. You should.
Show me your charts.
Okay, let's go to a chart. If you are on anything less than a big screen TV, apologies in advance. This is not gonna, I'm gonna talk it through with you, but it's gonna be tiny. If you're on a phone, I mean, come on, forget about it. Anyway, so there you go. Now, it's on the New York Times, you can find it if you want to. But anyway, what you're seeing there is from left to right, the percent who agree on a thing. So the farther to a right a dot is, that's the more people, these are Democrats, agree on this policy. The higher you go from the bottom to the top is how high of a priority it is. So the importance of it. So if something is in the top, is right there, then it is both something that we agree on and we think is super important. If it's way down, I'm not even gonna try. If it's in the bottom left, we don't prioritize it and we don't agree that it should be a priority. So let's talk about some things that are in that really important top right section. So I said it was a number 2 priority to impeach Trump. Literally the only thing that is both agreed on more and is rated as a higher priority is, and this is actually sort of heartwarming, I guess. It shouldn't be controversial, but don't separate immigrant children. That is literally the only thing that Democrats prioritize more than impeaching Donald Trump. And I'm gonna say because of Trump, actually. He seems to be a pretty important part of it. But anyway, that's right up there. Now, very close to it, you have things like no ban on abortion, don't build a wall, dream or path to citizenship, no ban on Muslim immigrants, no mass deportation. So that cluster is almost totally immigration-related concerns that are reactive to the policies of Donald Trump.
Yes.
I'm glad that they're prioritizing those sorts of things.
They're also very, like, that's what's so frustrating, is they're very obvious. They're so
that's why the percent agreement is so high. It's because it's not controversial.
And it's so bad.
What's that?
Like, all these things are so bad. Like, it's an issue that we, like, when people come across the border, we have made a decision that we would separate a family. We don't even separate families on the sign saying that people are crossing here. It's a family together. Like, because we know
they're supposed to be together.
Because they're coming here to help their families. The sign that you have to memorize when you take a driver's test in California is a whole family trying to get across the border because we all get it. They're coming here together for a better life because we're so dope. Yes. Right? Or whatever you want to believe, sticker. Right? Yes. But like, we're separating them. Yeah. And every Democrat understands that that is important and we agree. And that's good. And that's probably why it and they're so related brand-wise to Donald Trump. Like, they make these arguments with, like, the economy. People kind of hold the president responsible for the successes and failures as a concept. But, like, Donald Trump is out there every day putting his face on separating children at the border, building a wall so that eventually, even if they do get over, we'll separate them. But, like, they're evil.
Stop them in the first place.
These people are evil. We need a wall, like they're invaders of the dead from the north. Like, all that stuff, ban on Muslim immigrants. It's all Trump stuff. Now, this not only is a referendum on Trump's effectiveness to brand himself and communicate his stuff, which he is. It also is like, our messaging should probably be around that.
If that's a thing that clearly is firing people up. Yeah, and I think that it will be. It definitely was in the midterms.
Another challenge is to get things that are important, like abortion waiting periods, guns bans, reducing the size of the military, and oil and gas drilling, to get them to be as easy to understand as don't separate immigrant children, because they are important. People just don't agree that they're important.
Yeah, and that's why. And so you really
of how
landed
they're
on.
messaged.
We're gonna go just a couple minutes over. You really landed on there. There were two reasons that I wanted to cover this, and especially right on the cusp of 2020. One is so that you'll understand what's likely to happen in 2020. The other is for those of you who like that politics is not a thing that you just want to stay up on, but that you care deeply about and you feel like on a day-to-day basis it is a thing that you are engaged in. Like, you need to understand what people already prioritize, and if the things you care about are in this left bottom corner, then there's work ahead of us. This is the things we need to prioritize because people either don't agree on it, don't understand it, or don't prioritize it. So it's on all of us, whether you're broadcasting a show or talking on social media, talking with people in your life. These are the things that you need to prioritize because so far people aren't really getting it. Now, really fast, I want to jump to, I just want to briefly mention a couple of the articles talking about this are like, oh, Green New Deal, everybody says so popular. It's like the 25th priority. Okay, sort of, but there's a big cluster in the middle there, and big environmental program is prioritized more. So people do still care about it. This is a difficult thing that lumps a lot of stuff together. So anyway, just bear that in mind. I do want to jump really fast though to impeachment is not just important for Democrats. Impeachment outweighs every other issue for Republicans, including parts of Mr. Trump's and the party's agenda, such as building a border wall. For the Democrats, it was number 2 after don't separate families. For the Republicans, it's number 1, and it's not even close. If we go to this chart, you're gonna see it is way above don't ban guns. So hypothetically, you believe that you have to take the gun from their cold dead hands. They'll give it to you, but don't take Trump from their alive hands, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, so they really care about it too. And the thing is,
calmer than you are, dude approach. Calmer than you are. You guys seem to be really like the reason that you're so worked up about don't impeach Trump is because you know that there's something wrong with him. You know that there's something wrong with him, and so do the people defending him on all these impeachment hearings because they never deny that there's something wrong with him. They're just denying, they're like yelling at the refs that they aren't calling all the fouls.
Yeah, it's procedural or it's diversionary. Yeah. But we can learn a little bit from some of the other spots here too. What's interesting is up there in like second, third, and fourth place, don't ban guns, build a wall, and don't give reparations for slavery.
Which is like even low on the like Democrat. Like it was what, like 20% of Democrats found it important.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I get that we've gone over this and it's pointless because I'm not gonna convince anybody. But if you believe that the support for Trump, it's economic anxiety, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's racial concerns, immigration concerns, gun concerns, and they're still thinking a lot about slavery and how much they don't want any sort of justice for that dark legacy. So anyway, you got that. Also, I noticed, not that it matters because they won't do anything about it, but the thing that the Republicans agree the most on, universal gun background checks. They don't prioritize it. And if you're a Republican politician, you damn sure don't prioritize it. But they do agree more on that than on literally everything else. And you can find these charts because there's a ton of things on there. There's a lot to be learned there. But going into 2020, especially as this Democratic presidential primary continues, here's what is on people's minds. And impeachment is very much one of those things. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.